It's a big setback for Smriti Irani, who was hoping that the courts would in the first instance throw out the complaint that's been filed against her. Complainant says that she's filed different claims about her educational qualifications in 3 affidavits. The court today ruled that it would actually want to hear about this complaint and find out whether or not Smriti Irani did indeed lie under oath.
Congress launching huge protest against HRD Minister Smriti Irani. Party students' wing burning her effigy in the capital, raising slogans seeking her resignation. In the line of fire over Degree Rao, opposition parties training their guns on Irani after a Delhi court admits a plea challenging her educational credentials, posting the matter for a hearing on 28 August, calling the complaint maintainable.
Court has taken cognizance but has not sent the matter for FIR or something. He has asked the complainant to lead his evidence to prove that whatever Smriti Irani ji has said in her affidavit is false.
The complaint alleged that the BJP minister made contradictory claims about her college education in 3 affidavits filed by Election Commission, declaring a BA degree in 2004, a BCom Part 1 qualification in 2011 and a different college in 2014. While the opposition demands action against Irani, the BJP continues to throw its weight behind Irani. Amid the slugfest, however, the Home Minister had his last word on the controversy.
नए इसमें मंत्रियों के त्यागपत्र नहीं होते हैं भैया, वो यूपीए गवर्नमेंट नहीं है, एनडीए गवर्नमेंट है.
This does prove to be a big political dampener for the BJP government, which went strongly after AAP MLA Jitendra Tomar in the fake degree case. What we'll have to wait and watch is how far does the Narendra Modi government support its own minister and saves itself from further embarrassment. With camera person Shakil Ahmed, this is Anusha Soni for India Today.
The Aam Aadmi Party is saying that Jitendra Singh Tomar was made to resign, Smriti Irani must resign as well. But is there any comparison at all? I'm joined now in the newsroom studios by 2 special guests, and this is not something that happens very often because we've got Anil Soni. He's with the BJP's legal cell. He's also the counsel for Smriti Irani. With me also is Rajesh Inamdar. He's an advocate and the lawyer for the complainant. They will be arguing in court and they'll be arguing live here on the newsroom. And with us also is Adarsh Shastri. He's a MLA of the Aam Aadmi Party, the one party that's going after Smriti Irani the most aggressively. Now I want to ask you, Rajesh Inamdar, first. You're claiming this as a big victory. You're saying that the first battle against Smriti Irani has been won by the complainant. Now, all the courts said today was that they're prepared to hear this case. So how does this constitute a victory for you?
Yes, the very first question when we filed the complaint was put to us by the court was whether this complaint as per us is maintainable, whether we filed this complaint within the time frame prescribed by law. So this was the biggest hurdle we had. So we satisfied the court that yes, this is the complaint which has been filed within the prescribed limitation, and if the court says yes, the complainant has to be heard, the complaint has to be heard on merits, this is a victory for us.
Anil, you are arguing that because this goes back to 2004 and also goes back to 2011, more than 1 year has lapsed since this complaint should have happened, and therefore it can't be heard at all, it can't be maintained, and therefore you wanted the court to throw this appeal out. That hasn't happened. That is the first legal setback to Smriti Irani.
No, as yet, I'm neither the counsel for Smriti Irani, neither Smriti Irani has been summoned as an accused. The case has been put in by a complainant, and he says that I find there is discrepancy in the affidavits, and therefore the court should take cognizance. The court has not taken it as seriously as it should have, or it should have.
But they said they'll hear the case.
He's not sent it for FIR investigation. He says now if you feel that there is discrepancy in the affidavits, kindly show it, kindly prove it.
No, but there is a discrepancy in the affidavit because on 23rd April 2004, Smriti Irani claims when she's fighting for the first time from Chandni Chowk in Delhi that she has a Bachelor of Arts in 1996 from Delhi University. In 2011, in July, she says when she's fighting for the Rajya Sabha as a candidate from Gujarat that she's BCom Part 1 in 1994 from Delhi University School of Correspondence. In 2014, when she's fighting from Amethi, she says she's BCom Part 1 from School of Open Learning in Delhi University. Now,
that's the same. Open learning,
yes,
and
the name got changed, but
the name got changed.
Between 2004 when she was in Bachelor of Arts and 2011 she became Bachelor of Commerce, the big difference there.
2014 and 2011 affidavits, there's no ambiguity, there's nothing wrong.
Are you prepared to accept that Smriti Irani erred, that her affidavit in 2014 was a false and bogus affidavit? That's a very serious charge.
It's not a false and bogus case.
You're saying 2014
let's take an example of Sonia Gandhi's matter.
Yes.
She had forgotten, as she claims, to mention the exact correct name of the college that she had studied in. And the court, and this Honorable Supreme Court in this Swami's case, said have a big heart. There must have been a typographical error. Here she's not written Part 1. That's the mistake in 2004.
No, BCom and BA completely different, sir.
She probably came from Bombay. She was an actor at that point of time, a famous actor.
So she didn't know what she'd studied. Are you for real?
No,
You're saying she didn't know what she'd studied. She didn't know whether she was BCom or BA.
It was the affidavit came in for the first time after the Supreme Court order,
and therefore she didn't know whether she was BCom or Bachelor of Arts.
She must have been assisted by certain people to fill up the form. She never.
So she can't say I didn't fill up my form, someone else did. A candidate is responsible for what he fills out.
Writing graduation in science or nothing, if she had written graduation, how does it make a difference? If
so BCom and Bachelor of Arts, they're
graduation. Graduation is graduation. If she writes graduation.
So Part 1 means she studied in the first year.
That's what I said.
In the first instance, she's claiming that she's a Bachelor of Arts.
She missed out saying that Part 1.
You make it seem as if it's a small matter. It's not, because Rajesh.
Technically, it's time barred. I can't take
up. So your argument is only that this is time barred. That's your only argument. Otherwise, your client lied. She lied.
She did not lie. She missed out. Typographical error, I would say.
Typographical error.
If
Sonia Gandhi has a judgment in her favor where she says it's a typographical error. The same must apply to Smriti Irani.
Without going into the facts of Sonia Gandhi's case or any other cases, I would say one wrong cannot make another wrong right. If my learned friend says that somebody else filled in the forms for her, right? For a instance,
But she's still responsible.
She's responsible. She signs the affidavit. It's not that somebody else comes and signs the affidavit. She has to check whether whatever information has been filled in
that argument is spurious.
I'm not arguing I'm presuming that this would have what would have happened at that point of time.
I want to go across to Adarsh Shastri now, because this is a very interesting argument between two lawyers and we are seeing how this case will unravel in court. But Mr. Shastri, the Aam Aadmi Party is taking this one step further, saying that Smriti Irani must step down as Jitendra Singh Tomar was made to step down. Now surely you would accept that the court has said nothing so far which would require Smriti Irani to step down. Isn't Aam Aadmi Party jumping the gun?
No, well, our view is very clear that, that the fact that the court has admitted this as maintainable, I think that clearly shows if the BJP wants to take the moral high ground, on that ground alone, setting the highest standards of moral uprightness, Smriti Irani should step down.
Did not step down, Adarsh Shastri, when the charge was levelled. It's only when the cops really showed him that he didn't know what his university was, he didn't know where he studied. It's only then that the Aam Aadmi Party was forced to act. So you can't sit on a pedestal and claim and set these standards for others, Mr. Shastri.
No, so our view is very clear on this. As and when we got to know, and Arvind ji has stated it that clearly we were of the view that what Jitendra Tomar has told us, we stood by what he gave to us in writing. When the circumstances changed because of media or because of the police investigation, we immediately asked him to go. here in this case, either Smriti Irani should give it in writing to the BJP government of the facts of the case, or she should step down, taking the moral high ground.
But the crime is much lesser.
If you look at no crime, 2011 she agrees that she has done become part
Let me put that question to Adarsh Shastri, because there's no equivalence. Adarsh, with the case of Jitendra Singh Tomar, he claimed to have had a fake degree. Do you believe the two crimes are comparable? Because over here it's a case of misrepresentation. Smriti Irani didn't go and buy a degree. She's only guilty of misrepresentation at most.
So, no, the two cases are totally different. We are nowhere trying to compare the two. In the first case, we were misled by Jitendra Tomar. When we got to know through the investigation, we asked him to go. In Smriti Irani's case, it's misrepresentation in a nomination for the House of the People. And in that case, on moral high ground, she should resign.
Rajesh Inamdar, final word, what happens on the 28th of August when this case comes up for hearing next?
Now, when the court has taken cognizance, court would now examine the complaint, the evidence which we have laid, as well as the complainant. Court will cross-examine the complainant, and then court will further decide whether summons has to be issued to Smriti Irani and ask her to come to the court and explain these discrepancies, or the case made by us against her.
Okay, that's interesting, because if a summon is issued, then she becomes an accused.
Moreover, she has not become a minister by saying that she has done what she wrote in 2004. She wrote become part 1. Thereafter, she has become a minister, saying the correct.
Well, I'm not going to sit in on judgment one way or the other. We leave it to the honorable judges to decide whether they believe Rajesh or Anil is right. But it's been fascinating having the both of you in our studios and arguing this out like you would in a court of law. Thank you very much, and we wish you all the best. Thanks also to Adarsh Shastri for joining us in this broadcast. Thank you. Here are the other big national stories that have made it to the newsroom this evening. In a dramatic twist to journalist Gajendra Singh's death case, the forensic report submitted by the government in Uttar Pradesh suggests that his death appears to be a case of suicide. Gajendra Singh in his dying declaration claimed that he was set on fire by policemen at the behest of UP Minister Ram Murthy Verma. The alleged supplier of illicit liquor that claimed the lives of 102 people in Mumbai has been remanded to police custody till the 3rd of July. Manzoor Ali was arrested in the capital yesterday. Accused of sexually harassing his former colleague, Terry Chief R.K. Pachauri was grilled by the Delhi police today. Pachauri's questioning lasted for about 2.5 hours. In a shocking verdict, the Maharashtra High Court has granted bail to a rape convict so he could participate in the mediation process with the rape survivor. Granting interim bail to the accused, the judge held that alternative dispute resolution is now being used in criminal cases. In a swift response to all SOS calls from a distressed offshore coastal vessel, the Navy and the Coast Guard swung into action and rescued 14 crew members. MV Coastal Pride, a cement carrier, sank 75 nautical miles off the northwest coast of Mumbai. There are new charges against Vasundhara Raje. Smriti Irani finds herself in trouble in court, and now Pankaja Munde, daughter of late BJP leader Gopinath Munde, finds herself in the eye of a massive controversy after it emerged that her department pushed through the purchase of items valued at 206 crore rupees without going in for e-tendering, which is the norm in the government of Maharashtra. The opposition is crying hoarse and they're demanding Pankaja's resignation. Pankaja insists she's done no wrong.
A leader with a clean and non-corrupt image, Devendra Fadnavis was chosen as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra by the BJP's top brass after the party registered a thumping victory in the assembly elections last year. But almost 7 months after taking charge, Fadnavis' government is hit by its first scam. Fadnavis' Minister for Women and Child Welfare, Pankaja Munde, is at the centre of Rs 206 crore fraud. Pankaja Munde allegedly issued contracts for purchasing items without following the procedures.
The deals are under scanner as Devendra Fadnavis has banned any purchase of material through the rate contract system where material is purchased after negotiations of the rates. The scam came to fore when the Women and Child Development Minister's office received a letter from the President of Ahmednagar Zilla Parishad complaining about the quality of chikki distributed to tribal children.
with Pankaja under the scanner for murky deals. The opposition is alleging nepotism.
This really calls for a full-fledged probe into the entire matter. The law should act.
Facing the opposition heat, Pankaja coming out to defend the purchases, refuting all the allegations of financial irregularities. But even as the minister is in the dock, BJP's central leadership is refusing to comment.
I do not know the facts of the case, but I'm sure these issues have been raised and there would be a substantive reply to it. After that we can respond. I do not know about it.
BJP came to power in Maharashtra, promising a corruption-free government. But with one of its most prominent leaders facing serious charges, it is the first major dent to BJP's scam-free reign. With Kamlesh Sutar in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
No, why don't you put out tweets? I want to take them as graphics. Under the UPA government, a scandal that forced the government to scrap a deal for the purchase of 12 VVIP helicopters. It's also a scam that tarnished the reputation of Mr. Squeaky Clean, the former Defence Minister A.K. Antony. It's also a scam that shook the Manmohan Singh government to its core. Well, now an India Today investigation reveals that an Italian court has said that there was no scam at all. The court has found that former Air Chief S.P. Tyagi not guilty of any corruption.
The helicopter at the heart of the UPA government's biggest international scandal, the AgustaWestland VVIP chopper scam. A scam that battered India's international reputation and put the biggest questions since Bofors on the table. From the Prime Minister to his Defence Minister, even the UPA chairperson. But no one more than former Indian Air Force Chief Shashindra Pal Tyagi. His reputation was smashed to pieces in this big defence kickbacks controversy. But just 18 months after India took the unprecedented decision to scrap one of its largest helicopter deals, stunning new information has surfaced, suggesting that there may have been no scam at all. India Today has exclusive access to the 145-page final judgment of the Italian court from which the entire scam story began in the first place. An October 2014 judgment that hasn't seen the light of day till now, and perhaps for understandable reasons. It categorically states that there were no kickbacks and firmly acquits the chief accused, former Indian Air Force Chief S.P. Tyagi.
The judgment makes it clear that the prosecution failed in convincing the court about the existence of a corruptive agreement of any form between the accused and Air Chief Marshal Tyagi. The judgment also says that there was simply no way that either the accused or the Air Chief at that time, Air Chief Marshal Tyagi, could have influenced the deal because most of the decisions were already decided upon. And finally, the judgment also says that mere notings on a piece of paper do not and cannot constitute evidence of corruption.
These damning excerpts make it more than clear that the Italian prosecutors who broke the news about the scam have failed to establish corruption in court. The question then is, does the Indian government's own case, currently being pursued by the CBI, stand fully demolished? Did the then Defence Minister jump the gun, or is there more to it than meets the eye? Most importantly, however, where do these developments leave the Indian Air Force and its former chief? Questioned at least 6 times by the CBI so far, his family and reputation bore the biggest brunt. But now?
I can paint myself as, the victim of target. Maybe a victim of circumstances, because the fact is there is some Italian chore who said he got some job done from me, so it's not as if, it is pulled out from empty air or whatever.
Veterans of the Indian Air Force believe the government's perceived overreaction has completely damaged India's reputation.
Some Italian prosecutors whisper into each other's ears, and our Mr. Clean, Mr. Antony, goes and cancels the deal without even blinking an eyelid. Now that is a shame.
An unprecedented situation faces the Modi government. The UPA had cracked down on a perceived scam under massive political pressure from the BJP. So can it now go back? Repeated requests to the Defence Ministry for an official comment were declined.
Sir, ये VVIP में कहीं बोल नहीं
नहीं दे रहा हूँ ना, मुझे पता नहीं जिसका मैंने बोला।
I think what the Italian court has said is perhaps something that the government at that time had already been saying, that all systems were followed and nothing wrong has really happened.
Meanwhile, the CBI's own case has meandered without result for nearly 30 months, yielding virtually nothing. Letter rogatories to Mauritius, Tunisia, Italy, Singapore, the United Kingdom and Switzerland for details crucial to the probe have received zilch replies.
Interestingly, CBI, which began its probe on the basis of Italian court case, has decided to continue its probe despite the Italian court saying corruption and kickbacks have not been established.
As always, it's the Air Force that has suffered the worst. With its brand new helicopter deal scrapped, it has had to make do with existing stock.
As the edifice of a so-called scam crumbles, questions are emanating. Did the government of the day simply wilt under pressure? Did the government of the day, in a bid to maintain an image, compromise national interest? With camera person Vishal Bahel in New Delhi, Jugal Purohit reporting for India Today.
We're slipping into a break. When we come back, the big battle in the Indian dressing room is now out in the open. Virat Kohli says there's confusion in the dressing room. Players are not being able to express themselves. Is this not a direct pot shot at Mahendra Singh Dhoni? And how do you end this squabbling? What's the way forward? We'll get you that story when we return on the other side. Stay with us. We're back in a moment.